Hi, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Can everyone hear me well? And you can also see my screen? You can say in the chat. Okay, welcome everyone to today's 2023 New Features Wrap-Up webinar, where we'll be showing you our selection of the most impactful and exciting features that we released in 2023. My name is Gal, and I'm a Customer Experience Manager here at monday.com. I'd also like you to introduce my colleagues Esther and Tali, who will be supporting today's presentation and answering questions for all of us behind the scene. Feel free to send the questions as soon as they come up because they are here to answer them right away for you. Thanks, Esther and Tali, for being here. I hope all of you can see my screen and hear me, but if that's not the case at any point, please let us know by writing in the chat box so we can get it resolved as quickly as possible. Today's session will be made up of two parts. First, we will go over the selection of features we will be demonstrating as part of our end-of-year wrap-up. We will take a look at our features in action, and we will move into our live Q&A to answer your questions. Throughout the presentation and demo, please be sure to add your questions in the dedicated Q&A box at the bottom of the screen instead of the general chat, as we are not going to be monitoring the chat section. We will try to get as many questions as we can. That said, there are a lot of us today, so if we don't get to your specific question, feel free to reach out to us to our support at monday.com or check out our user community at community.monday.com, as it's possible for someone else has already asked your question there and it had been answered. Finally, if you need to jump off early, no worries. You will be emailed a recording of today's session with our CSAT survey within 3 business days, and you will be able to watch it at any time in our monday.com academy for next week. So let's jump right now in and take a look at today's agenda. We are very excited for today's webinar as we have made a selection of the most impactful and exciting releases from 2023. We have divided the new features into three main impact areas. First, we have our better workflow management, our better efficiency, and third, our better collaboration and control. We'll be exploring the following features within these topics. So for our better workflow management, we have our docs, our work forms. For our better efficiency, we have our automations, dependencies, AI assistant, and workload widget. And for our better collaboration and control, we have our notifications and permissions. So let's start with our first topic of better workload management. These features or improvements will help you to build better workflows in monday.com. The first feature we'll be looking today are Monday Docs. Although Monday Docs were added as a building blocks before this year, in 2023, we made very important improvements to how you use them within your workflows. The first things we added was a new column type, the doc column, which allows you to add docs directly into your board within one click, removing the need for files column. This makes everything more streamlined. The second improvement we made was that we built on this and added the ability to create template docs from docs column. On doc column settings, you can now set a column template. You can either start from one of your account templates or create an entirely new template based on your workflow specific needs. Each item in the board will therefore be able to have a dedicated doc in the same content structure. Finally, we added a way to make your docs even more customized and branded, or simply to make them more visually appealing by adding custom cover images. So now let's go over our Monday account to take a look at these features. So first of all, let me show you how a doc looks like, for those who are not familiar with it. Work docs are central place for you and your team to collaborate, brainstorm, plan, and execute in monday.com. It is flexible multimedia whiteboard where you and your team can record all notes and ideas related to one central topic. By adding individual elements to your work doc, all your ideas can come together in one place, right inside monday.com, where all the rest of your work is stored. The best part about Monday Docs is that you can also insert other Monday elements inside of them, such as board, dashboards, and they will appear in live data. So in this way, you can click here on the plus, you can mention people if you want, for example, and also you'll be able to add here if you want to add different information, and you'll be able to do so here. Just like boards and dashboards, docs can be added from the left panel by clicking here. So you can add a new doc here, you can do it private or have it as a shareable doc as well. Or also you can go to a board. So let's go here to my board. And then you can add a new doc by clicking here. You'll be able to add here a Monday doc, and you'll be able to add your new doc. Now, let's say I wanted to have every doc on this board to be in the same format. In this case, we can use our column template. So you can either start from one of your account templates or create a new one. To do so, you can click here in settings, set doc template. And let's say, for example, I want to create my doc template. So all of them will be, for example, under a business plan. And then I want to say here, for example, we have team 1, then we have team 2, and then you can add all the different information you want to have it in your template. What this means that then when we'll open here a new doc, we will be already having the same template in the way that we have created. This will help us have all the information in the same way and have it everything centralized in one same place. And now let's say I want to have all of our docs we are working on to have also a cover photo. So now you'll be able to add a cover picture here by clicking, and then you can upload an image or even add a monday.com library or even like see the one that works best for you. Great, so now let's move back to our slides and we'll go to our next feature. So our next feature we have today is work forms. So what changes we made this year? Firstly, we moved from previews from form view to work forms. Work forms is monday.com answer to the collection of data via no-code form builder, which can now be purchased as a separate product from monday.com. Since we are working now on this product as powerful as possible, we wanted our existing monday.com customers to also have access to all of the new amazing features we'll be adding. So everyone now has access to work forms in their account. So let's look at some of the great features released this year. We have added our welcome page, our one-by-one question format, our analytics page, and we have added our dedicated automation recipe. So let's now get back to our platform so we can understand this better and go over it. So let's go here, we have our board, and now we will first go ahead and add our form. So we can click here, and we will have our form from work forms. So in order to be able to edit, you have to click here, edit work form. And then the first thing we will see now is how you can see here that we have our welcome page. So you'll have to click here and customize. Let's say I want to do start. And then I'll be able to add here the different options that we have, such as title, description, and button. Popular use cases for this feature might be surveys, requests, event registrations, and more. We also have added our one-on-one question format. This shows questions on a form of one by one and allows for a more professional and intuitive way to submit form responses. Formatting your forms to one by one can also improve the submission rate. So in order to do so, you can click here, and then as you can see, you'll be able to add it here, and you'll be able to have your one by one question form. Also, we have added our analytics page. This new area in work forms provides a great way for form owners to get a deeper understanding of how their forms are used, identify improvement areas, and make better data-driven decisions. So for example, you'll be able to click here and analyze, and you'll be able to see all the summary of your questions, as well as all the analytics and responses in a very good and efficient way. In addition to that, we also released our dedicated automation recipe, which used the submission of work forms as a trigger for other actions to occur in monday.com. For example, you can now set up automation so every time a form is submitted would be triggered and, for example, will be notifying someone as an action. In order to be able to add this, we will go here to our integration section, and then we'll click here where it says templates, and then we will search here work forms. So for example, I have already installed the app, which is connected to Monday. And then we can see all the different automation recipes we have connected when it comes to our work form. Let's say, for example, we want to do when a form is submitted, notify someone. So for example, we can say here, hi there, the form is submitted. And then let's say I want to notify, you can notify a team member, or also let's say in my case, I want to notify myself. I will go ahead here and add it. And then when a form is submitted, I'll be notified. So let's do here test. Then we can do, for example, working on it. Then we can do like the date. Then we can add a number, the timeline, and then submit. And now we can see here how I just created the item and then how I have just received here the notification from the form. Let's now move again back to our slides, and then let's move to our next topic, that is better efficiency. And we will take a look at the best improvements in 2023 on our automations. So firstly, we can now edit automation blocks. Custom automations allow you to create your own automation workflow. You can create new combinations tailored to your team needs and make them perfectly into your specific workflow. In the past, after creating custom automation, users couldn't edit the automation blocks, add a condition, an action, and so more. They could only change their configurations. For example, change the group to move the item, but now you can open the automation builder and edit your existing automations. Next, we add a really powerful new condition, which is when column is empty, which just expands the type of conditions you can add when building a custom automation. We added a new condition to the automation builder if column is empty. So let's go ahead and test this in our platform so we can understand this better. So I have here my board. In order to be able to add an automation, you will click here. Let's say, for example, I will want to create my own automation. So let's go here. I'm going to do create custom automation. And then, for example, let's start first by using the when column is empty. So let's do, for example, when status changes to done. And then in this case, we have and only if column is empty. So let's say in my case, I want to make sure when a status is done and then the column is empty, you can do is or is not empty. In my case, I'm going to do is empty. Then let's say, for example, we want to do notify someone. You can also check with our automations. We have many options that will be helpful for you, as well as if you want to send an email, if you want to create an update, you want to assign a person, or in this case, we can also do assign a person. For example, since our person will be empty. So I'm going to assign myself. So when status changes to done. And then let's test this. Test 2. Now we'll go ahead when status changes to done. And as you can see, it was assigned to me. Since it was empty, now it got assigned. Other options you can do as well here, for example, is if column is empty, you can use, for example, when you're working on a task and it hasn't been completed, then also you can make sure that it will be notify someone in case this occurred. Now that we have our automation ready, we can also edit our automation blocks, this is something new that we have created this year. So in the past, you wouldn't be able to edit here, for example, if I want to remove here, and then I would just to have this. Now you can go ahead and add different conditions and different options that will help you make your automation be successful. Lastly, we have our automation activity log or run history. When an automation is triggered, you will have the ability to keep track of any actions or outcomes of the automation activity log. This log will show you if the automation was successful or unsuccessful. If successful, the log will give you insight into the sub-automation run. The run history is great because it can show you where there are issues with your automation recipes and allow you to fix them right there within the same screen. So let's say in this case, I have just created my automation. So if there would have been an issue, I would have here a failure. Also, I would be able to filter them. And then I will be able to see where is the issue coming from. So this is a great way for you to keep track. And then if you have any issues in the future, feel free to reach out to us. And also you can report the issue and we'll be able to help you solve it. Next, let's move again back to our slides and we'll move to our next topic of dependencies. It is one of the features I'm very excited about since we have improved the capabilities of our new dependencies infrastructure based on feedback that has come directly from you. For those who are not aware of what dependencies are, this is a popular project management functionality that allows you to set relationship between items. Usually tasks in a project where one task will be dependent on another. This usually, not always, means that a task beginning will be dependent on the previous task being complete. Today, we won't be demonstrating all of the dependency functionalities because there's a lot to cover, but I will summarize how the new dependency infrastructure works. Let's recap the options we have available when it comes to dependencies since we made our recent changes just a few months ago. You now have the options to choose not only the dependency type, which are finish to start, start to finish, finish to finish, and start to finish, but also between flexible, strict, and no action modes. Now let's jump to our platform. So we will be able to see how this works. So I will open here my board. And then in monday.com, we can set dependencies on our board using the dependency column. You can either, like, for example, if I have a new board, you will be able to get it here from the dependency column. So you'll be able to research and you can add it here. Or in my case, I have already created my own board, which I got it from a template that you can find them here, choose from templates, and then the template I'm using right now, it's called single project. You can add it as a template, so then you'll be able to have a structure when it comes to dependencies. So let's see now, here I have my dependency column, and let's see here the different options that we have. So while we are here, let's recap what we mean when it comes to flexible, strict, and no action mode. So we'll click here to settings, and then we can see the options that we have when it comes to dependencies. Flexible mode is used when we want to ensure that there is never any overlap between dependent dates. It will ensure that the next date always starts at least one day after the previous date. This means that you can have gaps between dates, and only if there's a risk of dates overlapping will the system push forward the next date. So as you can see here, I have set it as flexible. You can see here an example of how it will look like. You have to make sure which of the column you are using for dependencies, either the timeline or the date column. So let's click here, save. You will have to open a Gantt chart. And then when it comes to flexible mode, let's look to this example. Let's say item 2 is dependent on task 1, and task 3 is dependent on task 2. When set to flexible move, I can move task 1 forward, and it will only affect the dependent item. So for example, if I move task 1, if there is going to be an overlap of dates. So if I move it, as you can see, it won't affect task 2. Only when there's an overlap of date, it will be affected. Now let's see what we mean about strict mode. Strict mode is perfect for when you want to keep the same intervals or gap between dates. For example, if you want there to be a 3-day gap between two items. This way, any changes you make to any item will be affected its dependent items in the same way. So here you can see how it will look like. And then let's just test it so you get an idea of how it will look like. So now that we have changed it, so for example, if I'm moving all my tasks, everything will be moved at the same time because we are in the strict mode. Lastly, we have the no action mode. You might have already seen this action within your account, but this allows you to set up dependencies without having the dates automatically shift. With the no action mode, you can use the dependencies as a visual aid only, or use the status change when it's ready to start, but none of the dates will be affected. So for example, if I save here and I move, for example, task 1, it won't affect task 2 since they are no action mode. The difference is the ability to see what the items are dependent on in the board. And when using the Gantt chart, you will see the arrows to show the dependencies. If you want to learn more about dependencies, you can take a lesson in the Monday Academy, which deep dives into definitions associated with dependency types and modes and when to choose which. Okay, so now let's move back to our slides. Now let's move into our next feature for better efficiency, which is AI Assistant. This is one of my favorite features and one that is currently in the process of being gradually released to all customers. Monday AI is the incorporation of artificial intelligence technology into monday.com platform. We will be able to create automated task generation, composing and rephrasing emails, summarizing, and our formula builder. These apps will support various use cases from sharing helpful suggestions to improving workflows. So now let's go to our Monday account so we can test this and see how this feature works. So first of all, I'm going to create a new board so we can get started. For example, I'm going to call it to my bakery board. And we will start by seeing how we can create automated task generation. So this will create project plans in a fast and an efficient way. You will be able to define what you are looking to achieve and receive AI-generated task suggestions, which they can add automatically as items on the board. You'll be able to create up to 15 tasks at a time within a specific group. You can edit output examples, select which one you want to create and you don't want to create, and you can edit input after the generation. So let's create here using our AI assistant, and let's create, for example, create a list to open a bakery. We'll do generate. And then we can see all the different items it has created to us. We will be able to edit, for example, if you don't want to have this item, or if you want to remove it. You can also make sure if you want to change anything here, and then we will do add items. And it will generate all the items for us. So this will help us without manual work to be able to add items which are relevant with us. Now let's open a new doc called my bakery plan. We will now start with the next part, that is when it comes to summarizing. We will focus on what's important while Monday AI summarizes complex topics and provides relevant action items. Docs now support 4 new AI apps. For example, we have the first option that is called when it becomes compose a text. So we will click here. Let's say, for example, I want to create a text when it comes to write me a business plan to open a bakery. This will be using generating text using AI based on our guidelines. And then in this case, we will be able to write here by using our AI. And then we can add it to doc. So this has just created for me a text when I'm just requesting a write me a, and then our AI assistant will be able to create it. In addition to that, we also have the option that of different ideas. If you want to do paragraph about, 3 examples for, 5 tips, and you can choose the options that work best for you. We can also create a full template based on our request, including titles, placeholders, some more information. So let's say in this case, I want to create a template for a marketing campaign for a bakery. So we can generate here. And then here we can see the template it has created for us. So if you want to make any changes, you can also do it after, but then we can just add it to doc. And we'll be able to have here our template for our marketing campaign. It can take some time. Okay, while it appears, we'll move to our next one, that is summarize our text. This is great when we want to summarize. So, for example, we'll be able to summarize the entire doc content or just a selected content area that will be able to add a summary in the doc. So let's say, for example, I want to summarize this part, or if I want to summarize all this section, I will be able to click here, and then it will summarize directly all the information that I have. So instead of having to summarize by yourself, you can just add it to doc, and then you'll be able to have this summarize part. You can also copy from here. And then last, we have our rephrasing. So we will be able to rephrase. Let's say I want to rephrase this information. We will go to here, and then we can do, in addition to that, let's say, for example, rephrase, and then it will rephrase this information, and we'll be able to also use that as a great way to have information if you want to change a text. Last, we have our formula builder to be released at a later date. Describe a task or a team objective to Monday AI, and it will generate a formula that will help complete those tasks more efficiently. It is important to say, in addition to English, the Monday AI assistant will be available in Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Italian, and Dutch. So now let's move back to our presentation. And let's move to our next topic within better efficiency, that is our workload widget. When it comes to better efficiency, strong resource management is key. With our workload widget, you can better visualize, plan, and manage your team's schedule and their capacity. This feature is available from the Pro plan. In 2023, we added many new capabilities to this feature. These are more technical changes, so I will jump into the platform to explain them, but to summarize, we have the option to choose which column to present workload as a percentage, individual capacity for teams, adding some items, used to color the items, the ability to filter by person, and more. So let's jump directly to our platform to see how this looks like. So I have created already my board that is also for my bakery workload. And then let's see how it looks like. In order to be able to add our workload, you will be able to find it here, more views. You can add here workload, and then you can open in board. In my case, I have already added it. So let's go ahead and see it from here. We have added an option to present the workload as a rate percentage. So first of all, we have to go here to our settings in order to be able to see the different options that we have added. You can choose if you want to present your workload rate as a percentage or as a number of tasks, as the total capacity. This will give you a great visibility into the team's workload and capacity. In order to be able to have this, you will have to go here to our settings, and then you'll click here in settings, and then you will be able to have the option of the number or percentage. So this will depend on what's the best way for you to see it, and then it will be seen in that specific way. You can also choose to measure the effort exerted by each user either through the count item or through effort. If you choose count item, each item that is assigned to that person will be counted as one and displayed on the board. So for this, we will go here where it says effort and capacity, and then we will be able to click here for count item, and then we'll be able to see for each one of them the specific capacity they can have. So in my case, for example, let's say I want to edit the capacity per team, and we can add here what's the capacity or the number we want to assign for each one of the items for each specific team member I have in my team. And then here you can also assign the weekly capacity that is for each one of your team. In addition to that, we also have the option of effort. So sometimes, however, some of our tasks are more effort or carry more weight to the project. In this case, we are using effort determined by the time estimation, column number, or formula. So you can change it from here. In my case, I'm using the number column. When more than one person is working on the task, we can choose to display how the effort divided between them. We can change between split, which will divide the effort equally amongst partners, and sum, which will assign each of the partners a total number of the project it takes. So you can either change it from here split or from here sum. Also, we can set the capacity to work schedule or custom. So we have the option here in capacity or custom. We can choose the capacity for user based on their work schedule or custom in the workload widget. Both settings will factor in the user's schedule, work schedule. Let's say for work schedule, you want to add the specific holidays or the days off that each of the team members they will have. Work schedule is default and calculates the capacity automatically based on the working hours of the user. However, if you would like to measure effort not in hours but in story points, then you can set capacity to custom. So in order to be able to change the work schedule, since this is one of our mainly new features, you will be able to do it from clicking in your avatar, then going to your administration section, and then, for example, you can add work schedule. Let's say, for example, now that will be in Christmas and people will take vacations and days off, you want to add a schedule, and then you want to add specific for teams, any specific information, if it's going to be days off or different information that you want to set time off. So you'll be able to choose it directly from here. So then when we go back here to our workload widget, which I have already added the days for vacation, for example, now that will be a public holiday, then our team members won't be able to have days working here, and then this will help us in a more visual way. And then when it comes to the custom, you'll be able to add here the capacity per person. So you'll be able to add for each one of the team members and add the specific capacity that each one of them they'll be able to have. Now you can also add sub-items so they are included in a team member's capacity in the workload widget. So for this, we can go ahead here in our settings, and then we can go to our time columns, and then you'll be able to add, for example, which of the sub-items you want to have here added to your workload widget. In addition to that, now users can define coloring logic based on a selected field. Same functionality as already supported in the Gantt chart. So we will go here to our color by, and then this will help us in a visual way to know who is doing what, and by coloring items according to a category of your choosing, to give you certain information at a glance. The colors shown are the colors already have chosen in your board's main table. So in my case, for example, I have chosen the person. So then I will have a better idea in a very visual way who's working on each specific item. Let's say I move one item from one day to the other, it will be moved like this. And then I know in my case, I'm the one working on that specific item. In this case, for example, if I can know that Rachel, she's working on this specific item, so this will help us in a more visual way. And last, we have our person filter. We have added the person filter in the workload widget, which enables you to easily filter the workload by person, so you can zoom into specific people's capacity. So you can just click here, filter, and then you'll be able to, for example, see all the tasks that are assigned to me, or all the tasks that are assigned to Monica, and then to assign to each of specific of them, and then you can always save filter. Finally, let's go back to our slides, and then let's take a look at the features that we released under the umbrella of better collaboration and control when using monday.com. When it comes to collaboration, we have been working on improving the way you manage and use notifications from the notifications bell, which is key to good collaboration. The notification bell is one of the most widely used features in monday.com, as it is where you receive notifications about update, replies, mentions, assignments to task, automated notifications, and so much more. So what we have improved? In 2023, we have made the navigation of the notifications bell better by adding tabs to categorize notifications, a notification person filter, and the ability to search in the notification center. Plus, we have reduced noise by providing the option to mute board. Let's jump into our Monday account to see and get to see this. Okay, so we'll click here, so in our notification center, and then we can start seeing the different multiple ways that you can see a filter version of your notification bell to more easily find what you need. Firstly, using the tabs at the top, you'll now see the option to see only notifications which are on red, in which you were mentioned, and those that are assigned to you. So here you have the option of everything that has been in red, or if I had anything mentioned, or if there's anything assigned to me. In addition to that, you can now filter by person. So you'll be able to add a filter and then choose the person who you want to filter. If you have specific assignment from someone, or someone has tagged you in specific, you'll be able to filter from here. Also, we have added our search bar, so you'll be able to now locate all notification, and also now searching via free text, allowing you to locate notifications even when you don't remember who sent it or when. As long as you remember a keyword from within the message, the search will include text and context. For example, if you want to research a board name, item name, and action. So let's say, for example, I want to research everything that has to do with my bakery. I'll be able to see all the different assignments that I have been assigned when it comes to this specific search. And sometimes we don't always want to be notified for actions in every board we are subscribed to. Well, we made things a lot more convenient for you. So now you have the option to mute notifications specific to boards. You can mute notifications from within your bell notification window. So to do so, you can click here in the three dots, and then you'll be able to mute all notifications and then save. You will be able to have all your notifications mute, and you won't be able to see them when you receive something. Now let's go back to our slides, and last but not least, let's take at the improvements we made to better control your monday.com account. The improvement we made to permissions in 2023, which we will look, are the addition of login views as a permission for the Pro and Enterprise plan. And for Enterprise clients, we have our custom role-based permissions. Starting with login view permissions, views are considered one of the main building blocks on your board. Especially when you have a lot of data in large workflow, many users create filtered versions of the board with specific filters, which it is important and are not changed. Previously, everyone could edit and change the filters, which could cause issues with views, which had been set up for a reason. With the new ability to log views, we can prevent this from happening. So let's jump to take a look to how you can do this. So who can log a view? The user who created a view, known as view creators. Board owners will be able to log all views, and all views can be still edited by other users, but they cannot be saved over the existing view. The lock of the views means that users without permissions won't be able to save all actions that contain save to this option. For example, when it comes to filters, rearrange columns, sort column items, conditional coloring, and deleting the view. So let's see how we can do it. So you'll have to click here on the three dots, and then you'll be able to lock view. And as you can see here, it says lock this view will prevent anyone except board owners from editing the view. So now we have our lock view, and if you just want to unlock it, you will just click here. And finally, let's understand what custom role-based permissions are for enterprise admins. With custom roles, enterprise admins can create unique account-level roles according to a team member's job title and department, and to then assign specific permissions for that role. This feature was built in the goal of simplifying effective governance of an account while giving the proper amount of freedom to employees within their domain. So in order to be able to find this, you have to click in your avatar, then we go to administration, and then you go here to permissions, and then you'll be able to see here all the custom-based. So in this case, for example, you'll be able to click on member, and then you'll be able to edit the specific permissions you want for each one of them to have. Okay, so this completes the wrap-up of our end of year new features presentation part of our session. And we'll be moving to our Q&A shortly. If you haven't had a chance, please be sure to add your questions to the Q&A box. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then we will get started. Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. So we will start going through the Q&A. So first of all, we had a question about if we will get the slide, if someone can get the slides. So yeah, we will be sending a recording in the next 3 business days. You'll be able to receive a recording, and then you'll be able to see the slides from the recording from the Zoom meeting. And now we will start going through answering the questions that I can see someone asks that if it's possible in our work forms to have conditional questions. So let's go ahead and I'll show you in the platform how you can do this, and it's possible. So you'll go here, like we'll do edit form. And now when we'll do here, for example, I'll just go back to edit in my form format with multiple questions. So when we click, for example, here, you can add a new question. So let's say I want to add a multi-select question, for example. Then in here, you can add a in condition. And then, for example, you can do if answer is one of the option, then you can add another condition, and then you'll be able to go one condition after the other. And then everything you'll be answering, which that's great to know in the form, everything will come in as a new item, and then it will be filled out here. Let's see another question that we have here. Okay, so the next question we have here is if AI assistant will be available to all customers. And yes, it's right now on a slow release to all of our accounts. So stay tuned that all of you will have it. So it's a gradually release we are working on, which is a great tool. So if you have any issue, feel free to reach out to us also, support at monday.com, and then we can also help you with that. Okay, we have another question about if we have integration with Gmail or other specific platforms. So yeah, we do have different integrations. So you can all find them here in our integration center. So you can click here, and then we have all the following integrations. So let's say, for example, I want to use my Gmail integration. So let's say, for example, I want to connect my Gmail. So when status changes to something, you have to connect your account. And then once you connect your account, you'll be able to have, so let's say when status changes to done, for example, send an email, you can type the email, and then you can add either an email column or assign and be able to send the email to the specific person when status changes to done, or use any of all our different integrations that we have, as well as, for example, if you're using instead Outlook, Outlook Calendar, Slack, and everything. In addition to that, I can see also we have another question about our apps marketplace. We do have a lot of apps that are very helpful for different situations. So if there's an integration you cannot find that doesn't work for what you're looking for, I really encourage you to go over our apps and then be able to integrate them and see if that's what you're looking for. Okay, we can see we have another question about our work forms, if it's possible to add a picture. So we can edit here, and then you can also add a photo here, and then you can add an image that you can upload on your own, or you can even use the different images we have already here so that you will be able to design your work form. And also you can always like change the font and then add the different information. And also you can always add a question from here. And then if you decide to publish this, you can also publish from here, and then you'll be able to do a publish via email. You can even embed, for example, if you want to do it in your website, in LinkedIn, WhatsApp, or even use a QR code of whatever works best for you. I can see we also have few questions about like different plans and like how you can upgrade your plan. So you can always go here to your account. You can go here to your administration section. And then if you have any billing issues, you can always click here in billing. And then you can, for example, upgrade your account. And then if you have any specific issues, I encourage you to contact support. So you'll be able to reach out to us and then we'll be able to help you setting up your account. And addition to that, I can see we have someone asking if you can have the free plan. So we do have the free individual plan that is for 2 users. So you can either like create a trial account and then after we will be able to move your account to the free individual plan. So if you have any issue when you're setting it up, feel free to contact us. Okay, I can see we have some other questions about can I make a board private and also if I want to invite a guest, how it works. That's a really good question. So right now we do have like the different options. So let's say, for example, if I want to change my board to private, you can either do it from here, more actions, and then to board settings, and then you can change board type. If you want to change it to private, it's important to say it's only from the pro plan. This means that everyone who's invited to the board, so private board are visible only to subscribers, and people who have access to this board without subscribing will no longer have access. That is when we change the board to private and it will appear here with a lock. If, for example, you want to change your board type to shareable, so you'll be able to invite guests. You can do it also in the same way. So for example, I want to invite guests, so you can change your board to shareable. And this is only from the standard plan above. So let's say I want to invite a guest, you will be able to do it from here, and then you can just invite your guest. It's very important to say that when you are inviting a guest, it needs to be someone that has a different email domain. So they'll be able to have access to your account. And then depending on the plan, if you're on the standard or pro, like you have different limitations. If on the pro plan, you can have a limited number of guests for free. On the standard plan, it depends on the number of members that you have, how many guests you can have. So if you have any specific issue when it comes to that, feel free to contact us and we can tell you more details about it. Okay, I can see someone here is asking us how you can reach out to us and how you can get help if it's possible to talk to someone as a like with a person. So yeah, you can reach out to us here. Like we have our help center. You can contact us here, and then you can either do it via live chat, so we'll be directly with someone online in the same timing with you, or you can also reach out to us via email. If it's needed, you can also request a screen share if you have specific questions. And also, if you have billing issues, you can also request a call and we'll be able to help you. And also, if you have specific questions, you can also look here in our support center and be able to look for more information. Here, you'll be able to research for specific information and then you can read our knowledge base. We also have our community, which I really encourage you to go over it. If you have specific questions, we have a lot of users who like comment there and then you can get more answers there as well. We have few minutes left, so we will go over a few more questions. So feel free to send a few more questions before we end. So yeah, we will be answering a few more. Okay, here we have a question about our dashboards. It's a great question because dashboards is one of our main features that we really love and it's great to, so for example, I'm gonna create here a dashboard. I'm gonna show you how it looks like. So the great part of features that you can choose different boards and you'll be able to have all the information in one same place. So let's say, for example, I want to compare my information in a chart. So I'll be able to see from everything I'm working on these 4 specific boards in a chart, but also I want to compare all my information that I have. Let's say I want to do it in a calendar view, so I'll be able to see everything I'm working in my team. It doesn't need to be on the same workspace. You can add from different boards, which that's great feature from the dashboard, and you'll be able to see everything that your team is working on, and then you'll be able to see the different tasks. And of course, here you can also always filter. You can filter by person. You can also apply our different filters. So like, for example, you want to filter by group, by name, by status, also by date, which are great resources that we also have. So this is also a great way to do. Okay, here we have another question about our automations. So we do have, which is one of our new features as well, is the new feature that you can use also sub item as an automation. Before in the past, it was not a trigger. Now you can also use it as a trigger. So let's say, for example, I want to do when sub item status changes to something, to be able to trigger and do and you like with the condition, like be able to do a specific case. So let's say, for example, I'm doing one sub item status changes. Let's just see why it's not working. I'll open a new my other board. So let's say, for example, when sub item status changes to, let's say, done, then you can do, for example, move item to group, and then you can choose, for example, the group. So let's see how this will look like. So then I will go here. So for example, let's create here a test. Then when it changes to done, it will move here to our group. So this is new and this is great. And also, as I said before, that we work on I showed you the notifications. You can see how it be notified because it has to do also with the automation I have created before. So we can see how I've been notified since I've been assigned to this specific item. Okay, great. So thank you so much, everyone, for all of your questions. It was great to have time here with all of you and was great to be able to answer all your questions. And I hope you had a good time as well. And we'll send you the recording in the next 3 business days. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.